Hey heroes, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. With Christmas around the corner, that means Steam Christmas sales. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 10 games that I played in 2025 that have been steadily improving and are a blast to play. Starting with 7 Days to Die. This is one of my favorite zombie survival games that is both fun solo and co-op. This year, they implemented their 2.0 update, which included unique dynamic storms and challenges for each biome, made graphical improvements, and reworked the skill tree. Some were bangers, others fell flat, but the devs did take player feedback and continue to improve these mechanics. They're currently working on implementing third-person view, an apiary for easier honey acquisition, bandits, and eventually more story. I've played 7 Days to Die with 2 sets of groups, and I love creating fun Blood Moon bases and think it has one of the best combat feels of any zombie game. The endgame does need improvement, where eventually you do get so strong and have all the loot that everything seems trivial. Instead of increasing zombie difficulty or the frequency of blood moons, my friends and I have recently tried some mods that have dramatically changed the way we play, giving more quests, more gear, new skills, and scary roaming bosses with thousands, if not tens of thousands, of hit points. The next game I highly recommend is Abiotic Factor, a Half-Life themed survival game. They came out of early access and had their 1.0 release this year and added a ton of content, including the residence sector, crossplay, an enhancement bench, new weapons, and skills. I played with my brother on almost a daily basis for 3 weeks, and we completed it in about 60 hours. But had we taken the time to enjoy the lore, humor, and story, it could have easily have been triple that number. Abiotic Factor does a great job making you feel the progression and feeling stronger with each upgrade while still providing tough challenges the entire time. The devs aren't done though and are making more content. Their roadmap includes new difficulties, craftable exercise equipment, new weapons, and a ton of quality of life updates. The third game on this list is No Man's Sky, which really surprised me. This will have been my 4th time coming back to this game, but in 2025, it really stuck and grabbed a hold of me. Back at early access launch, No Man's Sky was empty, devoid of life, and had very few meaningful activities in my opinion. Now, it's like a space MMO. There actually might be too many things to do in this game. They added new stars, a new story, new planets, ancient ruins, gas giants, water worlds, archaeology, and settlements that you can administer. They added it for the Switch 2, added corvettes, which are like pilotable bases. They even recently had a Mass Effect crossover. If you did a specific mission, you'll earn the iconic ship for your freighter fleet, which you send on missions to earn resources. I played mostly solo and a bit of multiplayer. It was a fresh start, and with the many easy to follow tutorial missions, I had a better time becoming self-sufficient, because I remember even having enough oxygen and fuel supplies was a big challenge when I first played at launch. I made a base, a freighter fleet, owned a huge stable of unique ships including some solar sail ships, had my own corvette, and was even an overseer of a settlement that I developed into a thriving farming sector. 2 Point Museum is next, which is one of my favorite cozy simulation management games when I just want to chill. The devs continue to put out new DLCs and have put out a ton of quality of life updates, including one of my favorites, which is the ability to advertise for up to 3 specific experts and being able to craft up to 10 of an item in the workshop now. Their DLC this year includes Fantasy Finds, which was a medieval theme, and as of today, they actually have their second DLC called Zooseum, which includes a new museum location, wildlife experts, a new map, 40 plus exhibits, and a whole ton of new items. What I really enjoy about these DLC and themes is they provide new synergies to your museums. Like one of my museums focused on plants, but also robotic exhibits, which automatically watered your plants, and you'd likely staff your museum with robotic security guards and janitors, which would decrease your monthly salary expenses. For free content, the devs came up with a genius idea called the Digiverse. Requiring a different museum expert, it allowed them to not only have a place to add free content, but to do collaborations with other developers like Vampire Survivors or Dredge. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of are the time-sensitive events that only apply to one museum, when the game encourages you to have multiple museums that you switch to in your campaign run. Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries is next, and was a surprise because I honestly thought it was time to delete it after they made Mechwarrior 5 Clans an entirely standalone game. And I was wrong, because they put out a clan-themed DLC called Shadow of Kerensky, which added a clan invasion. I almost exclusively play this game co-op with my best friend, and Mercenaries just does everything better, especially the mech lab, where you customize your mechs. I love the new cutscenes that are now in all Mechwarrior games, and this is all thanks to clans. I also appreciate how only the host needs to own the DLC, and the rest of the players just need to own the base game to play with you. The devs have created a bundle called Kerensky's Legacy, which will include the base game along with all 6 DLCs, so look out for that. Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries includes a ton of great mods as well that helps with the quality of life, but also adds a nice layer of complexity so you can trick out your mechs to your heart's content. On to another sci-fi game. This time we're looking at Jump Space, a co-op space survival game that is very similar to a game that I played in 2025 called Void Crew. Now, Jump Space is new and in early access, and I appreciate them getting me keys for my friends and we had a ton of fun. They basically took a ton of the pain points of Void Crew and made it enjoyable instead. As an example, they have a robot companion that automatically joins in your missions and helps you if you're playing solo or only 2 players. It'll help you in combat, repair your ship, and join you when you leave the ship. Another great mechanic I like about Jump Space is that at the end of levels, you can normally teleport your loot to your ship rather than manually carrying them back. When you do though, the grappling hook shoots super far and is very convenient. If you're feeling brave, you can even spacewalk and grapple enemy ships to board and destroy them. In terms of foot combat, while a little on the basic side, the controls do still feel very good and better than other games that I've encountered. The devs do continue to add to their game, including their October 27th update that included hangar vendors where you can spend credits on consumables. They added new sectors and maps with modifiers, 3 melee weapons, and a Halloween event. Some sooner future plans include more game balancing, weapon considerations, and improving overall connectivity and stability. The Last Spell is next, a fantasy turn-based tactical horde defense game that I got in early access, but found it was too difficult at the time. When I came back, they had just added their new DLC called Elves of Amberwald. Everything was improved, and I just couldn't stop playing. I love the ability to customize heroes and save their looks for future runs. Combat made sense. Melee feels much better. There are a ton of upgrades, ways to customize your run, and a great feel of progression. The DLCs added 2 new races, dwarves and elves, which focuses on different playstyles. My only real gripe about the game is actually the sound effect of the boomerang, which kind of hurts my ears. The devs have announced their next and last DLC titled Tales of Torment, which will include many different things, including short-term objectives, and new unique weapons. They took the time to also announce their next project, a new game called Dead in Antares, a turn-based survival management game with RPG elements on an alien planet. It has interesting graphics and looks very different than the last spell. I think nearly everyone got Peak when it came out this year. It was an affordable, cutesy, but also very challenging game where proximity chat really made sense. I played with friends and really enjoyed how it encouraged teamwork, but also liked finding ways to complete challenges that you can then display as a badge on your sash. Since the time I've played, they added the ability to save your progress because each biome mountain could easily take 30 minutes each. They've improved biome diversity, added new maps, badges, cosmetics, game modes, and fixed a ton of bugs. A big wish for the future is that they increase the player count so you can play with more than 4 players at a time without needing mods. The second last game we're going to look at is the Doors of Trithius, a fantasy open-world roguelike in early access. In 2025, they added Pyromancy and Fulmination, which is thunder magic. When it comes to the best combat experience in a turn-based tactical combat game that is also simultaneous, the Doors of Trithius does this best. They added language support for 8 new languages, added context clues, improved map generation, balanced a ton, and squashed even more bugs. It's not perfect though, as some enemies like the growing vines seems overtuned at this time, and magic always seems to be significantly better than melee combat. And while there are a ton of activities and places to explore, I do hope that they add companions in the future, as it does feel lonely at times in the game. The last game to check out during the Steam Christmas sales in 2025 is Sunderfolk, a 1-to-4 player tactical RPG. Think Gloomhaven or D&D, with the most unique feature that I've ever seen is not only that only the host needs to own the game, but everyone uses their phone as their controller. You scan a QR code to play the game, and likely through Steam itself, Zoom, or Discord, the host will share their screen. Sunderfolk is like a bright and colorful, animal-themed Dungeons & Dragons video game, where you use a deck of cards to trigger movement and attack enemies. And what I like about this game over Gloomhaven is that you only need to track your health instead of the number of cards remaining. There are currently 6 different characters with their own deck of skills. There is an official campaign story, and the devs recently added a one-shot mode, which is like a skirmish mode for when you don't have an extended amount of time to play. There is a demo which allows gamers to try the first 4 missions for free, and you'll often find Sunderfolk on sale. Early next year, players can expect a 2.0 update with mouse and keyboard controls, PC online multiplayer where only the host needs to own the game still and sends their friends codes to join. They'll be adding a new tanky class and add 2 new game modes, Arena Rumble and Sacred Sand. So those are 10 games in 2025 that I somehow found the time to play and thoroughly enjoyed, that I definitely recommend you check out and possibly get them if they're on sale during the Steam Christmas event. Let me know in the comments below which ones you have and what games you'd recommend instead. Check out the rest of my channel for other videos on video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.